These are all quotes from teachers affected by school shootings. So, if adults are affected this much, then how bad is it for the kids?
I mean, honestly, it's almost dystopian, and sometimes it doesn't feel real, even though it is real. You see it happening a lot on the news and stuff, and you're like, oh, that's terrifying. And then you realize it can also happen to you. It's a very unreal feeling, is the problem.
What has been your experience with school shootings and school shooting drills thus far?
Well, at my old school, we had lockdowns pretty often.
We have a lot of lockdown drills where, I don't know, there'd be an implied shooter or whatnot.
Well, we do drills, but oftentimes they don't really tell us that they are drills beforehand.
When we did them, all the classes would go into their classrooms and lock all the doors. They'd close all the blinds and curtains, and we'd all sit in a line against a wall.
I was looking on people's stories, and I would see like people taking pictures of the outside of the school, and it was just like covered in the SWAT cars and guys with big, huge guns.
And then they start playing that recording. This is a lockdown situation. The voice keeps repeating. Lockdown, 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 lockdown. And then it's over, and you go back to class.
How did you feel afterwards?
I felt terrified pretty much every time.
You're more sullen, maybe you're quieter. People all have their coping mechanisms.
Obviously really stressed out and scared, but like right after when we finally got to leave the classroom, I was very relieved that, I still didn't know what was happening though until like an hour after. I had no clue what had happened.
And I always thought it was real, even when it was fake. I didn't believe it was fake until the teachers told us afterwards.
This footage is from a makeshift drill that we filmed at our school. During the drill, we tracked certain students' heart rates. One student's jumped from 97 to 142 beats per minute during the lockdown reenactment.
I mean, makes sense to me. It's having a physiological impact on your body, your nervous system, and your heart rate, your heart. I'm noticing my wish for it to be held in this certain way with so much respect and mindfulness, with the awareness that students' nervous systems are real and they are very, I don't want to say fragile, but yeah, they can be. It's very impactful to be doing these drills. It's like, what do we do before and after these drills, and how are we holding it, and what languaging are we using? I mean, from what we even call the drill to what the teachers are saying while the drill is happening, it matters. It all really matters, and it can completely impact these kids' experience. You have kids, major anxiety disorders coming from this, panic attacks, stuff that has repercussions for long term,
If there was anything you would propose changing about these drills or about how they're handled before, after, during, what would that be?
I think I would prefer if lockdown drills were more heavily, respected by the teachers commanding them. If they know it's a drill, they can really tell the kids to cooperate.
I feel like it's kind of out of the school's hands at this point and more into gun regulation as a whole.
A lot of stress could have been avoided if, the adults in the room were a little bit better.
It almost feels like an impossible situation when you have so many people in one building at one time that everything is just, how can you control for that? What can they do?
Yeah, mental health focus in schools should be huge. It should be much more of a focus.
I think none of us took it seriously when it was real. So I think one thing is teachers need to instill how important it is to know the procedure.
I'm like in the middle of like, what's the right way? You know, have them, don't have them, having them, but like having a ton of like mindfulness and training around them feels like a sweet middle way.
Suffocated, demotivated, alienated, I'm aggravated, feel automated, I'm devastated, I keep it in the